Hello Fly Tires, Paul here with the Tackle Shack. Today we're going to tie a copper john. In the Euro world, nymphs are a little bit simpler than they are in the traditional tying. So they're kind of appealing to some and there's nothing wrong with it. They do catch fish. So with that said, I'm going to go over what I'm going to be using here. I'm going to be using a jig style hook. It's the FM 5045 in a size 14 by Fulling Mills. I'll be using a Fulling Mills 2.4 slotted tungsten bead in copper. I'm going to be using UTC wire Brassie, and it's going to be the amber color. And I'll have the hairline iced up peacock black. I'm also going to be using using Biots that are UV. Biots, I will, like I said at the end of this video, usually I have a list for everybody, and that's what we'll have. So I'll have the details on that there. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is lay down a base of UTC 70 Denier and a light olive. Bring that back just about to the curve, cut it. And we're going to bring it back a little farther. I've posted a little short video on how I handle my Biots, and I will go over it as well here, but it's worth a look. So what I like to do is I like to set my Biots on the base of my vise, and I usually have the square ends out, and that way I can pick it up and the point is sticking out, so I can grab that point just like this. I'll pick up another Biot by the square end, and then what I'll do is I'll cross them and adjust them to about where I want. Transfer that into my left hand, and I will put a little bit on the side of the hook towards me because it's going to roll. I'll put 2 turns and I'll check them out. If I don't like them, this is where I'm going to do my adjustment. So I'll pick up a pair of tweezers and I'll take and using the square end, for whatever reason they never seem to really adjust well by the point. I have never been able to figure that out. If I grab the square end, I seem to be able to have some maneuverability with that. Get them adjusted to where I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I'll go ahead and tie that in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut my excess off. And it's going to be just a little bit behind the bead, which is not a problem. We can clean that up with thread. I can catch underneath of that one. Now bring my thread the rest of the way forward, and I'll clean that right up. Now we're going to tie in our wire. I'm going to tuck that up under that bead. I'm kind of position that a little better where I want the bead. And what that'll do is it'll help lock that bead in place a little, hold it there. And we're going to hold the wire towards us just a little bit because as we wrap, it's going to pull it over and put it on top. We're going to tie those back to where we tied in our Biots. Give that a little counter turn. And we're going to wrap back forward, up behind the bead. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit to make a little thread dam behind the bead to hold it a little better. I can see it's twisted a little bit. Sometimes you have to do that. And I'm going to put 1/2 hitch in it. And we are going to utilize the rotary in this to lay our wire down. So the more time you take on this, the better it's going to look. There's no rush in fly tying. Well, there's no reason to be in a rush. I think a lot of people think we have to be fast at this when you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for quality and be it the ability to customize colors and styles and I like to even say to be creative a little bit. Once I get past that point, I can go ahead and crank this right around. And I'm going to lean the wire in just a little bit to keep the wraps tight. I'm going to stop probably about 1/16 of an inch away from the back of the bead. Get the cradle out of the way. We're going to tie this off right here and helicopter off the wire. Now I'm going to take a biot. And you got to look at your biots. You want the curve. You can see there's a little curve in this. You want that curve to be facing out. I'm going to tie this onto the side towards the front, and I'm going to try to get it as close to the length that I want. And I'm going to have the point facing towards the front. Once again, if I don't like where the length, it's just a lot easier to handle these things with tweezers, and this is where I've said before, it doesn't matter how much time it takes, just get it to look the way you want it. So once I get my length, I tie that side in. I'll rotate him around. I'll grab another biot. And like I said, you really kind of got to look at them. Some of them sometimes to see which way your curve's going. And once again, with the point facing forward, do a couple wraps. And then I'll pull this into place, and I need to adjust my length. So I'm going to grab that in and give her a pull. Have a look. Not quite there yet. Pretty close right there. I'd like it to come down a little bit. And we'll go ahead and tie that in. Get it secured up well. I like putting these biots on these ends like this. It just adds another feature to the fly that could possibly make a fish want to bite, make it look a little more natural, a little more buggy. And that's the thing with fly tying. You can add and subtract anything that you want. You make these flies the way you want them to look. We put in our ice dub. It's going to act as a little bit like a thorax. Once I have it to there, I'm going to put a little crazy glue to it. About an inch worth on the thread. And I'm not going to try to get up behind the bead on this one because I think it's just not worth it. It's going to mess up the biots. And plus this will hold the biots down and then they'll be spread by the bead. Pull that a little bit tight. And there's what I use for a copper john. Very effective fly. Good on browns, good on brookies. Pretty much good on everything. I hope everyone found this video helpful. All the materials used in this video are available in store or online at shoptackleshack.com. And we appreciate you watching our videos. Have a great day.
A great day of fishing starts here.